Happy Friday, Musketeers. It's March 4th, 2016. I'm Amira Savani.
And I'm Paul Fritchner. This is Xavier News.
From the Xavier University Television Studio, this is Xavier News. Your campus, your region, your world. This is Xavier News.
Apple is still refusing to unlock the iPhone of one of the San Bernardino shooters due to a privacy issue. Apple says that unlocking one phone will lead to security breaches, making it easier for others to hack into other iPhones as well. Apple has many big supporters at this time, such as Twitter, eBay, Airbnb, LinkedIn, Medium, Kickstarter, and Reddit. The joint filing from these companies says, quote, just one tool to protect privacy and security is directly implicated in this case. But what the government seeks to do would send rippling effects through the entire digital economy, particularly for those who develop software for the mobile economy, end quote. The government will send in the FBI to unlock the phone if Apple does not agree to do so itself. Apple's biggest issue is that if they agree to unlock one, then it could possibly be used against other innocent people. At this time, they continue to refuse to open the phone, causing government intervention.
American astronaut Scott Kelly landed safely back on Earth in Kazakhstan Tuesday night. Kelly, the husband of former House of Representatives member Gabby Giffords, spent 340 days orbiting Earth. His 340 days marks the longest single period of time any American has spent in the final frontier. Kelly was an avid tweeter while floating in zero gravity, often taking pictures of Earth from his vantage point using the hashtag #YourInSpace. You can follow him on Twitter at station CDR Kelly. When asked how he was feeling physically, Kelly said, quote, I could go for another 100 days or 100 years, end quote. But mentally, he commented that, quote, the hardest part is being isolated from people on the ground who are important to you, end quote. This was Kelly's fourth trip into space. Jill Biden, the wife of Vice President Joe Biden, was in attendance to greet Kelly upon his return to Houston this week. Extensive tests will be performed on Kelly to determine the true quality of his physical condition and to see what the effects of spending such an extensive period of time in space are. One of the hopes from this mission is to better understand the possibilities of deeper space explorations for manned missions. Here at Xavier University, the educational resource Canvas is key to student success. However, a number of professors have yet to make the switch. Here's Corey Reich with the story.
Here at Xavier University, the lack of teachers using the educational resource Canvas has students searching for answers but finding themselves lost. Third-year fine arts major Hannah Smith has dealt with this throughout her collegiate career.
Well, I think teachers should use Canvas mainly because it's a better tool to communicate to students exactly how they're performing on both tests or assignments, so that students can then glean more information from their coursework than they would otherwise. I actually think there's two really important parts of Canvas from the student perspective. One, actually, the calendar lets you organize your assignments, coursework, tests. Even though you may have already gotten that information, here it's all in one place, so that you don't have to be like searching your mind or searching your various agendas or phone calendars trying to figure out what you need to do next. It's all there. And secondly, the fact that there are course rosters for each class on Canvas, so that if you miss a class but you also don't like immediately know anybody around you, you could find somebody on there and email them for like course notes or questions for an assignment you're working on, or get together a group for a group project easier. It makes communications on all realms, both students to professors and students to students, much easier. Canvas for professors in the visual arts is important in the exact same way. Sometimes we don't get a grade on anything until literally our final grade in the course, which really leaves you wondering how you're actually performing in the class. There's really no way of knowing, and it almost seems as if your grade is just sort of like pulled out of thin air sometimes.
Third-year accounting major Tyler Thompson has faced similar issues during his tenure at Xavier.
The entire student body would benefit from teachers properly being trained to use Canvas. It changes everything. I'm absolutely more prepared for everything, all because it's all actually laid out in front of you from the beginning of the semester to the end of the semester. And at the end of the day, it's not about teachers using Canvas. It all depends on whether or not they use it properly. If we're given deadlines, teachers should also be given deadlines too, to return our grades and communicate them online.
Canvas really helps to put some sort of formula to what you're doing.
For Xavier News, I'm Corey Reish.
President Obama announced yesterday that he will be staying in Washington, D.C. for a couple more years, citing that the Obamas were going to wait to move elsewhere until their youngest daughter finished high school. He was unable to say what his plans were after she graduated. Some have speculated that Obama may return to Chicago, where he still owns his home in Hyde Park. There are also others that believe he could go back to Hawaii, where he lived and met Michelle and is also the birthplace of both his daughters. Looks like 8 years living in Washington, D.C. has not been quite enough for President Obama.
14-year-old 8th grader James Austin Hancock was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, inducing panic, and making terroristic threats after he shot 2 students and injured 2 others at Madison Junior-Senior High School Monday afternoon. Hancock began shooting in the lunchroom at the high school and proceeded to flee the scene. He dropped his weapon and ran from the school, but a police dog was able to detect his scent and locate the suspect, who had not fled far. According to Butler County Sheriff Richard Jones, the victims are currently in the hospital and the wounds do not appear to be life-threatening. The 2 students who were injured have been discharged from the hospital. Students at Madison High School returned to class on Wednesday, 2 days after the incident occurred. Hancock is being tried as a juvenile and has denied his involvement with the crime. It is still unclear how he came in possession of the weapon or what his motive was. Ryan's Pub is at the heart of Gallagher, yet students seem to rarely stop in the only place to get a cheeseburger on campus. Here's Grant Vance with the story.
Ryan's Pub is located in Gallagher Student Center, providing traditional pub fare and a relaxing atmosphere. Considering the City of Norwood's reluctance to grant liquor licenses and the benefits of having a pub on campus, where are all the students?
From what I understand, the university doesn't want us to serve too much alcohol, so they limit us to some beers and only rum and vodka, which I think isn't right because we could be doing a lot more business if we had more selections of drinks for people to choose from.
I honestly think that Ryan's often is trying to market to an older group, like the alumni that come in for home games and stuff, instead of looking more toward the youthful aspects of college students. So having cheaper things on the menu, beers that they want to drink that aren't super expensive.
With features like a sweet jukebox, John Hughes fanatics as employees, pizza, and elegantly poured beer. What could help Ryan's improve their business?
Also, this theme of club sports tends to be more nostalgic, also appealing to the older crowds. We weren't even alive, or we were not alive, no, when we had football team, so it's pointless to have it on the wall.
I think if we were allowed to do more deals and advertise better, for instance, if we were able to tweet about the deals on alcohol that we had, I think that could bring in a lot more business and really help the restaurant out. I work with a lot of great people. We make some really good food. We have a very nice bar, probably not as stocked as it could be, but it's a very nice restaurant.
This is Grant Vance with the Xavier News.
Join the African Student Association April 1st for their 10th annual African Gala. The gala will include delicious cuisine, African entertainment, and a special guest. You don't want to miss this celebration of African culture on Xavier's campus. Tickets are only $15. Ticket sales will take place throughout the month of March, so purchase your ticket today.
In less than 2 weeks, students will embark on 22 different alternative break trips. The club was originally started in the year 2000 by Xavier sophomore Amanda Corzine. Now in its 15th year, the club has grown into an organization which offers a wide array of service traveling opportunities to students and faculty. On one trip last year, students and faculty traveled to eastern Kentucky to learn about mountaintop removal and coal extraction. This club's goal is to empower and challenge one's relationship with their global community through direct service, education, and reflection. That's all from the news desk. Stay with us for Daniel Bowling, back at it again with the Xavier Sports Report.
Welcome back, Muskies. I'm Daniel Bowling, and this is another edition of the Xavier Sports Report. Xavier men's swimming captured another one this past weekend when they held off Georgetown to win their third straight Big East title by a score of 832 to 781. The team has now captured the title every year since joining the Big East. The Musketeers were led by senior Knox Hitt, who set a school record in the 100 butterfly, and Luke Johans, who won the 50 free, setting a school record, as well as the 100 free. Overall, a strong team effort across the board allowed the team to claim 9 individual titles and win 4 out of the 5 medley races. This successful season just adds to the Xavier men's swimming dynasty. Four members of Xavier's track and field team were named to all Big East honors this past Tuesday after the Big East Indoor Track and Field Championships this past weekend. On the men's side, sophomore Zachary Polk collected his 5th medal in his short collegiate career with a first-place finish in the long jump with an absolutely insane distance of 7.18 meters. Additionally, Russell Platt broke his own school record, sprinting a 6.92-second 60-meter dash. For the women, Kara Robinson also set a school record in the 60-meter hurdles with a time of 8.85. Her teammate Sydney Larkin took 3rd in the 500-meter dash, running a time of 1 minute 14 seconds, 0.47. The team opens their outdoor season on March 19th at the Stan Lyons Invitational at Butler University. However, track and field isn't the only team on campus with an all-Big East athlete, as women's basketball's Bree Glover followed up on the preseason projections as she was named to the All-Big East Honorable Mention team earlier this week. Glover averages 11 points per game and 4.2 rebounds per game while leading the women's team in blocks. The senior is 5th in the Big East in field goal percentage at an efficient 49.8% and is automatic once she gets to the free throw line, leading the conference at 83.8%. Glover and the women's basketball team will take on Butler in the first round of the Big East tournament in Chicago this Saturday at 5:30. However, at this point, it's impossible to ignore the hype. It's March Madness, folks! Despite a loss in a trap game to a deceptively strong Seton Hall team, the men's basketball team is poised for a deep run in both the Big East and NCAA tournaments. Bleacher Report's analyst Carrie Miller said after the Nova win that, quote, "The X-Men are officially a force to be reckoned with in the NCAA tournament," end quote. The team is widely mocked in the brackets as a 2 seed, but that could very easily become a number 1 seed if the team has a strong Big East tournament. The Musketeers have their senior night and final game of the regular season this Saturday versus Creighton, where the team will thank James Farr, Remy Abel, and Kevin Coker for their contributions to Xavier Nation. And that's all we've got today. Signing off, I'm Daniel Bowling. Have a safe spring break, and as always, let's go X.